As I'm sure many of you have already heard, if you have taken another AP class already, there's information coming out about the AP test. I'm passing out information about the AP test first, so let me pass this out. Pass that side. Myra, Alexis, Susie, Kara, Edgar, Jose, Gabriel, Joshua. All right, so my first question is this. How many of you is this the only AP class you're taking and you did not receive one of those letters? No. How many of you this is the only AP class you're taking and you did not receive one of the letters I just passed out?
He just gave you a letter.
Well, other than the one you just gave.
Right, but this is what I'm asking.
Okay, if you didn't get a paper right now.
Yeah. How many of you did not get a paper and this is the only AP class you're taking? Okay, but I gave you one. Yeah, higher that should be being passed down that way. So you're getting one. Okay, so everyone should have one, right? Has anyone not received a letter from their AP teacher yet regarding paying for the AP test? No, like, I just gave you one, so you're fine. But everyone else should have already received one from their other AP classes? Yep, okay. So you're going to hear this again one more time, but you'll probably hear it best here. So, because I have PowerPoint. So, yes, I will add some gusto to all presentations. In any case, before we even begin, folks, I do have a question for you. So go ahead and pick up your remotes. Make sure that the remotes are the right ones. They somehow got mixed up. We moved tables around earlier. So make sure your remote number is your remotes. Yes. Okay. So everyone has the correct remote? Okay, so here's my first question for you guys. Answer this without any pressure from me whatsoever, but I do need to know, are you planning to take the AP US History exam?
Can you see the answers?
I can, but not yet. I have to look at it later. But I won't know who is and who is not. Okay, well, I apologize. Stop complaining. Let me fix this. You take this test in order to be competitive for college. So, is it better to take the AP test now? Yes, because you can't take this class in college, like this specific class. You can take a history class in college, which you likely will still, but this is what you want to make you competitive. This is what you want to set you apart. So let's try this again.
I have a question. We don't want to take both these tests, right?
Nope. Nope. What? You can choose to take none if you like.
Our AP teacher told us that we have to use things.
No. No. You can choose to take none of them if you like. I don't recommend it. But were you planning on taking... How do you know what the question is? Okay, so where are you planning on taking the AP US History test? Again, this is under no pressure from me whatsoever. Do you feel that by May, in 3 months and 11 days, do you feel that you will be prepared for the AP test is the question, okay? So again, answer the question. No, 19. Juan's not here anymore.
They're back to back.
26 is not here anymore. Was that everyone? Did everyone vote? Okay, cool. So good. That's awesome. Actually, that's fantastic seeing 30. And then who is absent today? Ellie and Carolina, right? And they'll probably both be taking it, so I'll add 2 to that overall. Which is awesome because, again, that puts us at, 30, 61, 96 plus 28. Math decided to get hard. 124, right? Something like that? I don't know. Something like that. Again, last year was 113. 113 kids took the AP test last year. This year it's going to be 120 something. So that's awesome. I mean, again, you guys are by far the largest group of kids taking this AP test. And every year my group gets bigger. My first year teaching AP, only 35 kids took the AP test.
What happens right next year? You're not gonna be able to teach ASP.
Huh? No. They're going to cap me at 4, I think, is what's going to happen. But again, my first year teaching, I had 35 kids take the AP test. Now we have 115. Last year we had 115. If you guys do 120, your group will test more than like maybe 5 AP tests combined. So you guys are by far the largest group of kids taking the AP test at the school. You're one of the largest groups in the state of California taking AP test. In terms of as a cohort of students all from the same group, you're one of the largest groups in the state of California because normally they don't give AP teachers 140 kids because that's insane.
Because you make this class easy to learn.
Huh?
You make this class easy to learn.
Well, I mean, I pride myself in the fact that I made this class open access and easy and fun. And I guess it's a testament to the fact that you guys feel that if you guys studied, you would feel prepared for the AP test. Then, I mean, I'm happy that you guys feel like I prepared you sufficiently at least to be able to take on that task. Here's my other question then. I would like to know, folks, who was your world history teacher? So, hold on. Valencia Euro, or regular Valencia, Lane, Ronquillo, Bracho, Hall, or Hattori. Why did you guys have 2? Summer school. So you took it in summer school, then you took it again? Oh, you took World, and then you took Euro. So they're your most recent one. Your most recent one. So this is for statistical purposes on my end. I'm just curious to see how the numbers pan out here. If you take it over the summer, Mr. Valencia, Mr. Valen, I might teach it. It depends. I might teach world history over the summer. It just depends. I don't know. But usually it's those. Oh, yeah, those 3. All right, let's take a look. That's everyone? Okay, so raise your hand if you had Mr. Valencia for European history. Let me see the European history. Just curious. Okay. What about Mr. Valencia, but regular world history? Okay, what about Mr. Lane? Okay, what about Mr. Bracho? What about Mr. Hall? He only had 1 class last year, right? He only had the 1, 2? Okay. And then Mr. Hattori. Okay, cool. Interesting. Okay, good. Good to know. Part of it, folks, is that I'm trying to see if there are any trends, and there are none. So, I mean, that's what I've learned based on that question. Awesome, though. That's a crazy amount of kids taking the AP test. So, now we have to talk about taking the AP test. How does one pay for it? Well, folks, the test is expensive. As many of you already know, the test costs $89. Okay, it's not cheap. Reduced price, though, is $57 per test. So if you do qualify for free or reduced lunch, you automatically qualify for the fee of $57 per test. If, for whatever reason, you don't qualify or you haven't been using free or reduced lunch, but you meet the requirements outlined in this chart here that say, persons in household via income. So if you're an only child, how many people live in your household? 3, right? Or 2, depending. So what it comes down to, folks, is Depending on that, then if you do qualify for reduced price, but it's not through free or reduced lunch, you have to go to the front office to talk to Desiree, and she'll give you a form. That form will then show you what to fill out in order to get the reduced price. Cool so far? Questions about that? Okay, yeah.
So if you have free lunch right now?
You automatically get $57 for price. If you don't get free lunch, you have to fill out an extra form. No, you automatically get it for them, as far as I know. I could be wrong on that, but it might be the case. I don't remember. As far as I know, it's already in the database that you already qualify for free reduced lunch. The school already knows. In any case, folks, again, this is a per test fee. So again, how many of you guys are taking only one AP test? Okay, how many of you guys are taking 2 AP tests? How many of you guys are taking 3 AP tests? There you go. Anyone taking 4 AP tests? No bold travelers this year. I do have one student taking 4, and then when I was in high school, I think one year I took 5 in 1 year. So,
Why do you do that?
well, I did AP and IB. IB is like AP on steroids. So I did that in addition. So it's expensive. Most kids won't do it. Wilson has IB, and it's not even very successful there. So it's a very difficult program to have. A lot of teachers don't like teaching it. I would love to teach IB. But you need it. You can't have one teacher teach it. It's a program. You need like 20 teachers who are willing to do all the extra work to do it. And we don't offer it here. They might. I don't know. But it's a great course, though. Anyway,
What do you mean by you need 20 teachers to teach it?
you can't, it's not just like where you can have one. I mean, we could hypothetically have this U.S. History AP at the school, right? But with IB, you need science, math, history, language art. You need one in every subject at every grade level. It's a team effort. You can't just do IB with one teacher. It has to be the whole gamut. It's a team of teachers working with a team of students for 4 years. So it's pretty hardcore, and it's not easy. But, you know, I learned a lot, so it's cool. Anyway, so if you guys are interested in paying for your test, folks, the day that payment is due is Friday, March 15th, the Ides of March. So if you can't remember the day that the AP test fees are due, it's the day that Caesar was killed. Julius Caesar was killed on the Ides of March by Brutus and Cassius when Caesar uttered that famous phrase, et tu, Brute, right? Okay, so Ides of March. Any 15th of anything, folks, is the Ides. If it's January 15th, it's the Ides of January. May 15th, Ides of May. It just means the halfway point. Ides, okay? You learned a new word today. So there's that. Also, fun fact, the last breath that Caesar breathed before he died is likely that you're breathing that same air. It's a closed system. So whenever someone passes away in this world, you're breathing in the same molecules and atoms and whatever else. So it's the same stuff. In any case, how do I pay? Or let me clarify, how do you pay? Because I'm not paying for your test. You may pay in small increments towards your exam fees before or after school, but you may not pay during lunchtime. The woman who takes the money, Desiree, would like to have lunch. And so we've decided she will not have to work during lunchtime because that's not fair to her. So the only time you guys can actually go pay on your own time is before school or after school. Now, I understand that most of you don't want to wait in line, and likely there will be lines, especially if you wait till the very last day, at which point you'll likely wait in line for like 2 hours. Many of you might have experienced this last year, because remember, folks, there's at least 100 of you guys already from my class, so likely you guys will hold up the entire line just paying for AP US History. You guys should wear shirts. We're holding up the line. But, in addition, though, I mean, there will be other people taking this test or other tests. So what I've decided to do is to take time out of my schedule to send you guys to the office on the 22nd and the 8th so that you guys don't have to go on your own time, and I can guarantee that for those that are paying, you have time to actually pay it and you don't somehow forget. It'll be the 22nd and 8th of February and March, and I will give you a sheet with reminders of when these will be. My recommendation is, if you can, you pay it off right away. But I understand that $80, $90, even some of you $300 could be pretty expensive. And so if you want to pay it off in, half, 150 or 80 here, 40 here, 40 here, that's fine. I will help you do that. But if ultimately you guys can pay it off in one fell swoop, by all means do that. Okay, that's always better. If you pay it off by March 8th, folks, I will give you guys 100 points extra credit in wherever you need it most. Okay, but that's provided. Pretty much this is a reward for those of you choosing to take the AP test. It's already expensive, and I want to reward you for taking the test. But I'll also want to reward you for paying it on time and not waiting till the very end. So if you guys pay it by March 7th or 8th, then, and then you have plenty of time, folks. So don't just ask your parents on March 7th to have, $100 for March 8th. Or on March 14th, say, can I have $130 to pay my test? That's not fair to them, and that ultimately won't be fair to you when they say, no, I can't go to the bank today. So don't be foolish. I will remind you and remind you and remind you. Questions about this? Also, you can pay for all your tests on the same day, guys. You don't have to just pay for my test. But you're only getting credit if you pay for my test. I don't care if you're paying for your bio or English test. You don't get credit for that. Just my test. You can take my test twice if you want. No. The other point. Cash only. So I apologize, but the school does not take checks or credit cards. Well, checks bounce. It's hard to process. It takes too long. There's a return check fee. It's too hard to process. So cash only, guys. So what that means, folks, you only may pay in what? Actually, Federal Reserve notes. Federal Reserve notes are the only thing we're taking from you. We don't take euros. We only take Federal Reserve notes, which is why I want to be clear on cash, not other cash, just Federal Reserve notes. I want to make that clear. We'll take coins, guys. Those count too, but you count them out. So are there any questions about that at all? So, guys, you can't come in with a check. They will turn you away. And if your parents say, why don't they take check, it's on that sheet they passed out to you already. So it's there clearly. We just can't take... Yeah, we can't take anything but cash. So, when is the AP US History exam? For those of you that, again, are unawares, Wednesday, May 15th, the Ides of May at 8 a.m. Now, your test begins at 8. You guys should be here around 6:45, 7:15-ish. The reason why is that it's the day of your test. If any of you are aware of my day of test festivities, I provide you guys breakfast. Not like eggs or anything, but, Guys, there's 120 of you taking the test. I can't. Every year I'm like, do I want to keep doing this? Because it's expensive. And I pay for it. The school doesn't pay for it. But I buy you guys donuts. I buy you guys milk and orange juice for the morning just to make sure you guys are fed. Now, at the same time, I make sure that we call anyone that might be forgetful. If anyone's not here by 7:15, we start calling and making sure they're here. At that point, folks, this is a team effort, okay? I'll give you guys, I'll have a PowerPoint of final information, documents, to, for you guys to kind of recall. I'll have flashcards for you guys. You guys can quiz each other. And we take our final AP test photo, which you guys have seen every day now. And again, that photo will be the photo that we take before you guys take your AP test. And so if you're absent or if you're late, you won't be in the photo. And also that's where I give my final, hurrah speech before you guys take on the AP test, which you do want to hear. It's if you've talked to anyone last year, it's a test that it's a speech you want to hear. Yeah. The test will take most of your time. No. So. Your section 1 will be 55 minutes, 80 multiple choice questions. You'll have like a 10-minute break, at which point you'll have section 2, which is 2 hours and 5 minutes. Yes, it's a 2-section test. That 2-hour section plus will include a 15-minute mandatory reading time, which means the documents that you get, you have to read those, and you're not allowed to write your essay in the first 15 minutes. That's actually good. That's actually good, though. They're forcing you to prepare. And they're giving you time to read the. It's not you're taking out your writing time. They're giving you time to read first, which is good because you should use that time to read the documents in about 10 minutes and spend the next 5 minutes doing what? Outlining, preparing, brainstorming. What? Yeah. Oh, yeah. You have all the scratch paper to be able to do that.
You said we can't write.
No, you can write, outline. You can't write your essay. The essay is in another booklet. So all the documents and all your scratch paper are in booklet A. All your writing has to be done in booklet B. Does that make sense? So you'll open booklet A and you'll have to start analyzing your documents. You can look at what all the questions are and you can start preparing accordingly. But then you move on to the actual writing time. The writing time is actually an hour and 55 minutes. This one large chunk of time. At which point, the recommended amount of time is 45 minutes for your DBQ and 35 minutes for each essay. Okay? They will give you a warning. You should begin your second essay or part B at this time. Now, you don't have to, but you should get around to that by the time part B begins, and they'll warn you 35 minutes by the time part C comes around. Because the way the essay is broken down for section 2 is broken up into 3 sections. A, B, and C. A is your DBQ. You can't choose that, right? In part B, you have question 2 and 3, and part 4, you have question 4 and 5. You choose one from part B, let's say you choose question 2, and in part C, you choose a question, which let's say is question 5. So you get 2 options. In part B, the questions will be from colonial era to Reconstruction. In part C, it'll be from the Gilded Age to Cold War. So you have to write one essay in the first 5 units, and you have to write an essay from the second 5 units. Does that make sense? Now again, we'll talk about strategies once we get closer to the test, but there are ways in which you can bomb one completely but still pass the AP test so long as you write the other ones really well. Okay, so there are ways to game the system, but we'll talk more about that later. Sir? Yes. I'm sorry? No. What? What are you talking about?
No, yeah.
No, so when you get the 100 points.
It's for the class, not for the.
I get it for the test.
Because I have no power over the College Board yet, so I have no say in how they score their grouping. So there's nothing I can do about that. Okay. Are there any other questions about the AP test or the AP test day or how to pay it? So everyone feels comfortable? Everyone feels like we pretty much, guys, we have 2.5 units left. Not 2.5 weeks, 2.5 units left, and then we're done. We will be done with 99% of the content by spring break. After spring break, we finish about 3 days worth of lecture, and then we start reviewing for the AP test. So we have a good solid 4 weeks or so of review. Yeah.
Will there be lectures in spring break?
Will I be lecturing during spring break? No. You guys will have review assignments over spring break, naturally. But I'll give it to you before spring break. But I'll be honest, guys, you should probably be doing some studying during spring break. Whether it's through flashcards or one of my review assignments, you can't not use spring break to study. I mean, if you're gaming to go to a good college, this is what's expected of you. So, I mean, I'm not going to give you a lot of work, but there's an expectation that you do something over spring break so you don't forget. Just like over winter break, you'll do something. Okay? Any other questions about reviews or anything else? Myra? You'll probably get out right before lunch. Usually right before lunch. Yeah, you'll see me before, and then you'll see me right after because I'm likely pacing outside, panicking, right outside the door. And then you guys will all leave your stuff in here anyway, so I'll see you guys all when you guys leave, and then I'll start asking you questions. Yeah. Yeah, because your group is so large, you guys are going to be in different classrooms. I mean, when this class used to be only 35, you can put you in like the T building. Now you guys are like in like 3 T buildings and the gym and like the wigwam. There's just too many of you. So it's awesome. It's a great problem to have, but there's too many of you. So you are not allowed. I'm not even allowed to like be around you. Once the test starts, I have to like be in here and just cry. and hope and pray that you guys are going to be okay. So I get nervous. Yeah, I get nervous. What? Yeah, after, then we talk about the test. We're like, oh, how was the test? And then we'll just watch, then we'll watch something. Usually, I mean, last year I watched The Office while I was waiting for you guys. I was like, I have nothing to do. I'm done, guys. By the time you guys are taking the test, I'm done with the year. I'm like, okay, I've done my job. You take your final way before. So you guys will take your final in April. So you will pretty much know your grade by April. Then you have a month to not... Yeah, but that's why. You know your final grade by April, and you have about a month to take practice tests and essays to raise your grade. But it's not going to be easy to raise your grade. You take practice tests and essays over and over again to raise your grade. So,
Will it bring us down?
no, likely they'll raise your grade. So, likely.
Like,
Yes. There's like 3 days. So, likely we'll talk about college. Likely we'll talk about how you guys should prepare for college for the following year. Scholarships, that kind of thing. Cool. Any other questions? Yeah. If you fail it, nothing happens. Yeah. If you fail it, nothing happens. If you pass the AP test, and this might not be really affects most of you, or it might actually it will still affect a lot of you. But if you pass the AP test, number one, that's awesome for college. You get college credit for it, so bonus. Two, you have a much higher chance of going to college. By the way, folks, statistically, just by taking this class, you have a higher chance of graduating from college by just taking an AP class. Do you know why? You're more exposed to a college environment. Imagine if you've never taken a class like this and you go to college. Might college be hard? Shock, like, oh my God, you read? And you have to do all this stuff in college and you take these kinds of tests? I mean, you guys have seen like the other regular history textbooks, right? They're crazy. It's like define, and then that's the homework assignment. That's not college. If you take the AP test, not even if you pass, but if you take the AP test, you have even much higher chance of graduating from college. Just by taking the test, you have a much higher chance of graduating from college. And if you pass the AP test, you're almost guaranteed to graduate from college because you were prepared, you took the test, and you were able to pass it. The reason why that's so important to me, folks, is that, and even if you don't pass, the reason why it's important just to take the test is that the buzzword in society today is get your kids to go to college, right? Go to college, go to college, go to college. The problem I have with that is that my goal is not to get you guys into college. You know, if you go to college, that's awesome. That's what I would like for you to do. But my personal goal is to get you guys to graduate from college. You need to graduate from college. Does anyone know what the dropout rate is for Latinos and immigrants?
no, I'd say it's a little more than 30, 40%.
It's like 40% of immigrants and Latinos drop out of college in the first 2 years. 40%. Does anyone know what it is for Latino males? It's almost 70%. It's much higher. And so what it comes down to is I need to make sure you guys are prepared. So if I can prepare you for this test, guys, we'll be good. So, any other questions? Seeing none, let's begin. There's not very much. I know, it's crazy. Just you guys always take way too much time. No, you guys are just so chatty. Anyway, we gotta start anyway. Hey, we're gonna start the intro, so calm down. Open your notes, let's go. Unit 8 will be continued today, folks, and today we're covering the Roaring Twenties. The Roaring Twenties is what we're covering today. Now, this topic, gang, we'll be talking about society in the post-war world. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. This is the post-war world. The post-war world. And so we're going to see kind of what's changed since World War I, if the progressive reforms have continued their successes. So we are going to see what has changed thus far in the Roaring Twenties. And so here are the Roaring Twenties. So we're talking about the 1920s here, in case you guys were unfamiliar. We're talking about the 1920s. And again, you'll notice that there are women that will be a lot more seductive during this time period. Women will be a lot more glamorous. Women will be a lot more free. And again, you'll see a lot of African-American art as featured here. Again, here you see a very risque woman showing her ankles. I know. Avert your eyes, gentlemen. This is not for the weak-hearted. But again, this was a big deal, folks. Short skirts, how dare you? Other photos, you'll see women more glamorous, shoulderless dresses, hair pieces, bright red, no high heels. These are the changing images of women. Here you'll see the emergence of speakeasies. You know, prohibition is beginning now, so secret clubs and bars will emerge at this time. You'll see the rise of black culture, you know, jazz, blues, you know, underground clubs, the Cotton Club, illegal drinking, illegal bars. You'll also see the mechanization of the factories. We'll talk about, you know, Henry Ford and the first Model T and the first commercialized car in America, and how this really begins the factory system in America. The assembly line begins. And we'll talk about how women go from being domestic women to being consumers who control the pocketbook, who start dominating what is being bought in the household. You know, women go from being, you know, doing just laundries to buying all the major purchases in the household. So you'll see these massive changes. So the question now begins is this: were the 1920s an era of good times or bad times? What is the correct answer? Both. It's always both. Your answer should always be both. Here's why. When writing an essay, folks, do you want to say, it was only good times? Because then you can only write one thing. But if it was good times and bad times, then you can write about both. And also, is anything ever absolute, folks? No. Nothing is ever absolute. There are no absolutes. There are only relatives. From my perspective, it was good. From another perspective, it was bad. You are in a better position when arguing with anyone to say it was a little of both. Now, can you lean to one side or another more? Of course, and you should. You should never be directly on the fence, but you should be somewhere around it. Okay? So, when we talk about good times, we're talking about, you know, increase in society, dancing, all that stuff, great times. And here on the bad times, you see this rise of anarchism, the fear of communism. You know, this idea that is America becoming a communist country because of all the labor unions? The immigration problems, the rise of the KKK. You will have some bad things happening during this era. So I want you guys to be aware of the contrast. And so let's talk about American society in the 1920s. And at first, we're going to talk about the bad times. No, it's the old pen. Because I broke the small piece, I had to buy a new laptop.
Did you?
I did. It was horrible. I mean, it doesn't work anymore, so I have to buy a new laptop. Oh no. I'm very excited about buying a new laptop, so I found an excuse. No, I actually should be arriving sometime tomorrow. So. Yes, but the pen doesn't work. I have to write in the most annoying way possible. So, I'm getting a computer. I don't have it yet. This is not it. No, the other ones, you'll notice. You're like, dang, king. I wear it around my neck on a chain when I'm not using it. That's the kind of computer that I got. So, the first reason why the bad times have begun, folks, the Great Unrest. And the Great Unrest can be characterized by an increase in strikes and labor losses, or losses of labor. So again, the Great Unrest can be characterized by increase in strikes, so an increase in strikes, and losses of labor, or labor losses. Okay, labor unions will lose at this time. Yes, characterized by increased strikes and losses of labor, or labor losses. Okay, because folks, according to this image, what is happening a lot in America? Hobos, yeah, and strikes. You have a lot of strikes going on in America at this time. And so we're going to figure out what's going on. Now, remember all those successes during the Progressive Era? We talked about Whole House, Muller v. Oregon, Lochner v. New York, Settlement House, Kidding Owens, like Adams Act, and Square Deal. We're like, oh my gosh, successes for everyone. Clap your hands and be overjoyed. Labor has finally come. The problem is that was great up until about 1914-ish, and we began to wheel back the clock of progress. Okay, so we had all these successes, and it was fantastic. And then things started to go bad. So let's read this interview. This is testimony between the Committee of Education and Labor with an immigrant worker. Are you an American citizen? No. How long have you been in this country, Mr. Mikulvich? 7 years. What is the strike for? How did you happen to go on strike? The world will never know. Continue this lecture tomorrow, guys. Have a good day.